Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Ann Reardon and today we're going to make a chocolate pinata cake. This cake is just a chocolate shell stuffed full of lollies, and it's a perfect alternative for people who can't have wheat or eggs, and it's a fairly easy project to make. First we're going to make our cherries to go on top. Put some tempered chocolate into a bag and cut off a tiny bit off the corner, and then use that to pipe stalks onto some non-stick baking paper. It doesn't matter if they're too long because we can trim them up later. And cherry stalks tend to be a little bit bent over at the top, so you can try and replicate that with your piping, just starting in one spot and piping across and down. Leave them to set and then take some aluminium foil and pinch it up to give you like a squashed mountain going across, and then pinch it up a second time so that it leaves you with a thin valley down the middle. Fill the valley up with jaffas and then pinch off either end so that you're basically jamming all the jaffas together in a line so that they'll hold their place. Then using a knife, trim up your cherry stalks so that they're all a similar length. Pinch another line of foil so that you're making a support for the stalks while they're setting. So this one needs to be higher than the previous ones. Then put a tiny drop of chocolate onto the top of each of the jaffas and add a stalk on top of that, just gently resting them against the foil so they've got support while they're setting. Then just leave them at room temperature to set. Now to make the cake looking part, I'm using a disposable plastic lid from the top of a cheap purchased cake that you can get at the supermarket. If you're making this for a friend or family member with celiac disease, then you need to make sure you wash it really well with hot soapy water so there are no traces of gluten, and then dry it completely before you use it with the chocolate. If your supermarket doesn't sell cakes with these sort of lids, then you can always use a container or a bowl as a mould. Just watch the tutorial on making tall chocolate bowls to get all the tips on how to do that. Using a spoon, I'm just spreading it up the sides to make it look like drips. And for this part of the cake, I'm using tempered chocolate. Tempered chocolate means that it's heated to specific temperatures so that the fat crystals set in a formation that is strong. And because of this, the chocolate is crisp at room temperature. If you don't want to temper your chocolate, then you can use fake chocolate instead. And if you're new to this channel, then just click on How to Cook That to go to the channel. And there's a video there on tempering and another one on what chocolate to use that explains the difference between fake chocolate and real chocolate. You can eat fake chocolate, it just has a different fat structure to it. I'm using the tempered real chocolate, as I said, for this part, and then I'm going to use fake chocolate on the sides. Once that dark chocolate is completely set, then we need to make our sides. Make sure that it's not too hot when you put it on because we don't want to melt the drips that we've already made. Swirl the container around to spread the chocolate the whole way around as evenly as you can. Once that's set, we want to add some extra chocolate around the bend to reinforce that area, and then hold it up to the light to see if you have any thin areas that the light can shine through. These are spots that are too thin and will probably break when you try and take it out of the mould. So just reinforce them with a bit of extra chocolate over those areas and leave that to set. Then refrigerate it for about half an hour before we tip it out. Loosen it from the mould by carefully pulling on the sides, and now it's time to fill it with lollies. If you're making this for someone with celiac disease or other allergies, make sure you also check the ingredients on all of your lollies so that they're okay for them to eat too. I just let the birthday boy go down the lolly aisle and choose his favourites for this cake. On a different note, I've been doing some recipe experiments this week and was wondering if you guys get musk sticks or banana lollies where you live, or are they just an Australian thing? Let me know in the comments if you can get them, or if you've had them before and you're overseas and know that you can't get them. Is there something that's a similar texture to those lollies where you live? Because I want to use them in a recipe that's coming up. Now you can place a plate or a cake platter over the top and then invert it. Make sure it's centered and then remove the mould. To add your cherries, just put a little drop of chocolate and then put your cherry on top. To make them all evenly spaced, I like to put one on one side, one on the opposite side, one in the middle, and then two between each of those so that each quarter has two in the middle of it. Then to make our chocolate drips look more 3D and real, we're going to put some chocolate again just in a Ziploc bag with the corner cut off and just gently pipe some extra drips at the base of our pretend drips of chocolate. Now this is not a cake that you cut, it's a cake that you're going to need to smash, which is all part of the fun. Next week, we have a cake for Adam, Alex, Marissa 007, Clara, Video Stuff, which is cool, Julia, Tiny Stegosaurus, Jen, Firelight, Cassandra, Amel, Vulcan Detective, Christiana, Annie, and everyone else who has requested Doctor Who. It is going to be a huge cake, so make sure you join us. You can leave all your requests in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. Bye.